Have you ever caught yourself thinking, what am I doing wrong? Why isn't my hard work paying off? Why doesn't this person care about me the same way I care about them? Why isn't my business growing even if I poured my heart and soul into it? And the thing is that you keep trying, you keep showing up, you keep giving it everything you've got, and yet nothing happens. Well, let me tell you something. It took me exactly 7 years to understand this. When you stop needing something, it comes to you. So there was a time where I wanted a job so badly, and I convinced myself that it was the key to everything. I prepared for it for endless hours. I rehearsed every answer, every detail. I was sure that if I just tried hard enough, it would happen. But after this interview, all I could do was wait. And the waiting was pretty consuming. I was literally checking my email every 5 minutes. I replayed the interview in my head hundreds of times. And I overanalyzed every word I said during the interview. My whole life felt like it was on pause. My happiness, my self-worth, my future, it all depended on one thing, on that email. And guess what? It didn't happen. I didn't get the job at the end. And at that time, I was super devastated. I was thinking, what did I do wrong? Why am I not good enough? And I kept blaming myself for everything. But now, looking back, I realized that the problem was not the job. The problem was my attachment to the job. I wasn't just working for that job. I was actually chasing the job. I was telling myself, I need this to be okay. And here's what I didn't understand back then. Attachment doesn't bring you closer to your goals. It actually pulls you away from them. When you are moving with attachment, with desperation, with this energy of needing something to validate you, you are not attracting what you want. You are repelling it. Just think about relationships, for example. You meet someone new, you like that person a lot, and now instead of just being who you are, you're trying to overanalyze every word you say. You're trying to fake it. You try to be exactly what you think they will like. And what happens at the end? That person pulls away. Why? Because the energy of neediness, it's suffocating. It's not attractive. And the same goes for your goals. When you're constantly asking these kind of questions like, why am I not there yet? Why hasn't it happened yet? You are again putting out this energy of lack, are clinging to the outcome instead of trusting the process. So if you've been asking yourself, what am I doing wrong? Here is the answer. You are gripping too tightly. You are obsessing over the outcome instead of just trusting the journey. You're putting all the energy you have into getting something instead of becoming someone. If you're still with me, I want you to pause for a minute and ask yourself this question. Why do we get attached at the first hand to things, to people in general? Having goals is not the problem. Wanting something deeply or someone deeply is actually not the problem. The problem is how we hold on to it. We confuse intention, which is having a goal and working toward it, with attachment, which is needing it so badly that it starts to control us. This is where things start to go wrong. Attachment doesn't bring you closer to what you want. It actually creates resistance. It clouds your mind. It makes you an impatient person and pushes you further away. So you might ask me this question, Shema, what's the difference between setting a healthy intention and being consumed by attachment? So when you set an intention, you are clear about what you want. You take action, you move forward it, but you also understand that the result doesn't define you. Your self-worth isn't tied to whether you make it or not. You focus, you have a purpose, you keep showing up, and you give your best. That's intention. Attachment, that's completely different. Attachment isn't about clarity, it's about control. You convince yourself that this one thing is the answer to everything, like I did. Feel like you won't be okay until this thing happens, the way you want and when you want. That's the problem. It shifts your energy from calm, from confident to desperate. You are no longer trusting the process. You're just trying to force things. That energy, it blocks you from seeing other opportunities. So let's go back to relationships for a second. When you set an intention, it sounds like this. I want to connect with someone who values me, respects me, and adds joy to my life. So here, you are clear about what you want. You're not trying to force one specific person into that role. You focus on building a character, on building yourself into the kind of person who attracts healthy and loving relationships. Attachment, on the other hand, sounds like this. I need this person to like me. I need them to choose me or I won't be okay. Do you feel the difference? One is about building something meaningful. The other one is about the fear of losing control. And the same applies to your goals. Intention is saying, I'm committed to working hard, to learning, to growing toward my dream. And I trust that the right doors will open when I'm ready. But attachment is saying, if this doesn't happen, it's all over. If I don't hit this milestone right now, I failed. Attachment is really heavy. It's draining. It blinds you to other possibilities and opportunities, and it makes the journey miserable. And not just for you, by the way, for the people around you too. So here's the thing. When you're too attached to something, too desperate for it, you don't just block your blessings. You might actually be clinging to something that's not even yours. You might actually be clinging to something that's not even meant for you. And I really want you to listen. I want you to hear this with your heart, not just with your ears. You might not see it now, but when something is not meant for you, it will never bring you peace. It doesn't matter how much you pray for it, how much effort you pour into it, how much you convince yourself that you can make it work. If it's not meant for you, it will always feel heavy. Think about that person you've been holding on to. So you tell yourself, if I can just make them see my worth, everything will be perfect. So you change how you talk, how you dress, your values, your standards. You give, you hope that they will finally choose you. But do you feel peace when you're with that person? Or do you feel tension? Do you feel doubt? You feel like you're scared that they will leave you one day. You're scared that you're not good enough. And if it's the case, that's not love, my love. That's exactly what attachment is. And the universe is whispering to you every step of the way, this isn't meant for you. You know, in the Quran it says, you might love something and it's bad for you. And you might hate something and it's good for you. And Allah knows while you do not know. I don't know if you understand how powerful this is. It means that what you want right now might not be what is best for you. You might be asking God for something with tears in your eyes, begging for it to happen. But God sees the full picture. He sees the heartbreak it can bring to your life. He sees how it might take you off your path. And when something isn't meant for you, He will never give you peace with it. But the problem is we don't want to listen. We let our desperation drown out the signs. And you think, if I try harder, I can fix it. If I hold on tighter to this person, I won't lose this person. But my love, the tighter you hold on to something that's not meant for you, the more chaos you invite into your life. You lose yourself trying to force something or someone that was never meant to stay in your life. And that desperation is like poison. It blinds you. It makes you justify things that aren't good for you. And it keeps you cringing to what's actually hurting you. Do you know how to tell when something is good for you? It brings you peace. It brings you ease. Of course, it doesn't mean that everything will be perfect, that it won't take some time, but even in the hard times, there is trust. There is flow. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to force it. It aligns with you. But when it's not right, there is always resistance. Doubt. Something is wrong with your stomach. And that's not punishment, by the way. That's protection. So if you're holding on to something that feels heavy, I want you to ask yourself this question. Am I holding on because I truly believe that this is right for me? Or am I holding on because I'm too scared to let it go? Because when you let go of what's not meant for you, you're not losing anything. You're just creating space. Space for what's right for you now. Space for what brings you joy. Space for what brings you peace and ease. Not the chaos of holding on to something that's not meant for you, but the peace of trusting that what's meant for you will never miss you. You deserve to live with that peace. And it's waiting for you when you're ready to let go. Now that you understand how desperation, how attachment and neediness aren't serving you, take it a step deeper and understand the root causes of these things. So you want to know why you're attached, why you can't let go, why you keep chasing people that are not chasing you back? It's because you don't know your worth. You're out there begging for things that should already be yours, begging for attention, begging for validation, begging for opportunities that require you to lower your standards just to feel like you belong. But let me tell you this, it's not self-worth, it's self-betrayal. Because when you look around you, people who know their worth, they don't chase, they don't clinch, they don't beg, they don't spend their nights crying over people who won't text them back. They're not obsessing over opportunities that don't respect their values. They attract, not because they're lucky or because things just magically happen for them, but because they know their worth. They know they are enough. They carry themselves differently. They don't settle for the rest when they deserve the whole feast. So let me tell you something, you need to stop begging. Stop begging for people to see your value. Stop begging for someone to love you. Stop begging for opportunities to give you a chance. Do you know what happens when you beg? You are telling yourself and you're telling the whole world, I don't believe I'm worthy of this, so I'm going to chase it down. I'm going to prove myself. And that energy, it's desperate. It's unattractive. It's actually repelling everything you want, because what's truly meant for you will never require you to beg for it. It will never ask you to shrink yourself, to change who you are, to lower your standards. If it's really meant for you, it will align with the person you are, and not the person that you're pretending just to feel good enough about yourself. So everything we've talked about, attachment, desperation, chasing, it all comes to one thing: self-worth. If you don't believe you're enough, you will keep running over things that are not even meant for you. You are going to run over things that are not right for you. You will keep holding on to people who don't value you. Keep settling for less than you deserve because deep down you don't believe that better is possible. But the truth is, you are enough and you've already been enough. The problem isn't really your worth. The problem is your belief in your worth. When you know your worth, you don't chase, you don't force, you focus on becoming, you don't focus on begging. You focus on living a life so full, grounded in self-respect. The right people, the right opportunities, the right energy will be attracted to you. And I'll be honest with you, this isn't something you can fix overnight. And I'll probably make a video about this because self-worth is really the foundation of everything. What's meant for you will come, not because you begged for it, you're already worthy of it. Your life doesn't change when people see your value. Your life changes when you start to see your own value. Now, if you're serious about ending this cycle of attachment, we need to tackle two things. The first thing is that you need to stop making your whole life around one outcome, one goal, one person. Because you don't need to wait for someone else to make you feel worthy. You don't need to wait for success to finally be proud about all the things you already achieved in your life. You don't need to wait for a specific outcome to finally start enjoying your life. You know, when your whole life, your whole happiness depends on that outcome, that one goal, that one person, you are literally preparing yourself for a heartbreak. That's why you need to build a life filled with other joys, with other passions, with other hobbies, with other friends and people to know. And when you start to do this, you will start to take off the pressure off your shoulders. When your life is full and you have plenty of things to focus on, you stop depending on that one thing to make you feel complete. You stop attaching your entire identity to something that perhaps is not even meant for you. The second thing is that you can do the work, you can show up every day, but you need to start letting go and trust God's timing. And the thing is that we live in a world where we want everything right now. We want instant gratification, instant love, instant validation, instant results. But God doesn't work this way. Sometimes the things you want most will take time, and sometimes the things you want most are not going to come your way because they're not meant for you. So that rejection you're frustrated about, that delay you didn't expect, it's not the end, and it's not against you, it's a protection. It's a preparation for something better than what you've imagined, because what's meant for you will never miss you. It will come when the time is right, not when you try to force it. So trust the process. Everything is already working in your favor. And I know that patience isn't easy. It's really hard, especially when you've poured your heart and soul into something, when you've quit everything for that project and you don't see results yet. But this is how it works. You have to stay patient to let it go. And when I say you have to let go, I don't mean you have to give up. Absolutely not. Free yourself from the weight of trying to control everything. Trust that you are exactly where you're meant to be, even if the path, even if the picture isn't clear for you now, it's a bit foggy for you now. But when you start to align your worth with your purpose, everything that's meant for you will flow into your life. And not because you forced it, because finally you are ready to welcome it. So please remember, what's meant for you is already on its way to you. You don't have to fight for it, you just have to believe that it's already yours. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more, and see you on my next one. Bye!